you could look at this as kind of a reset button, finishing the first half, the unofficial first half, at exactly 500 with seemingly the best to come. We'll see, right? Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 9, White Sox 4 yesterday on the south side of Chicago. That sends the Pirates into the All-Star break at 48-48. But it sends them on an unusually high note because they've now won not just 4 in a row for the first time since starting the season, 5-0. They've won 6 out of 7. And in there, they beat the Mets, and they took 2 of 3 from the Brewers. So I don't want to hear about how terrible the White Sox are. They did what you're supposed to do against an opponent of that caliber. And they hadn't been doing that previously. So all of these are positives. All of these feel like some semblance of momentum, at least as much as you can conceivably carry momentum through an idle week. And yet, despite management really doing nothing at any point in this process, at least since the season started, the Pirates are 6.5 behind Milwaukee for first place, presuming that you look at that as a goal. I'm not sure that I do or I would. And they're 1.5 out in the wild card. I mean, 1.5 is 1.5. You can count all the teams you want that are in that pack, but it's still 1.5. And when you look at just over these past few days, the leaps that you make when you just string together something, as I've been bleating about here for weeks, it makes such a massive difference. Now, the key to all this, of course, I'm not breaking any news here, is that the Pirates have 45 now quality starts. That happens to be the 4th most in all of Major League Baseball. They have a 3.51 ERA among their rotation. That counts everybody, even the spot starters, even those bullpen guys, whatever. And it's the 3rd best in the majors, behind only the Phillies and the Mariners. Now, should that have gotten you better than a 500 record? That alone? Yes. Emphatically, one final time in this first half, yes. There could have been so much more. It's not that one bat fixes the lineup. It's that one bat helps just a little bit because you don't need much. One of the biggest misnomers I hear in any of the discussions and debates about this team is that you need 3 bats, not 1, or you need 7 bats, not 1. That's not the point. The point is to win games. Something Rowdy Tellez told me in Milwaukee that kind of stuck with me. He said, I look at our offense from the standpoint of where the team is in the playoff race. And he asked me, are we in the playoff race? I said, yeah, of course you are. I mean, who can dispute that? Okay. That means we're doing something. We're not bad. And while I won't agree with that, I mean, you can just look at the numbers to see where the Pirates rank offensively in various categories to dispute that. However, what I took from it, and what I believe to be correct, is that it wouldn't take, Mike Trout. It wouldn't take going and getting Marcell Ozuna and dropping him in the middle of your order. In fact, there are so many different ways that it can be done, whether that's just acquiring 2 league average bats and distributing them through the order or distributing them through the depth chart, or go out and get 1 impact bat. Go out and get 1 impact player that you can drop in and maybe in a baseball kind of way makes everybody around him a little bit better. Kind of like what I'd like to think we've been seeing over the past month related to Brian Reynolds. But I guess the one definitive thing that's taken place through this first half is that the team on the field has shown enough, has done enough to merit Cherington's support, Cherington's real support, Cherington's imminent support. That can't be called into question. Look, they come back and they face some tough opponents coming out of the break. There's no White Sox waiting for them. To me, that's not going to matter all that much. You have to be willing and able, I should add, to press that button, to go for something bigger. Even if Cherington or his stats guys or whoever look deep inside the collective and individual performances of this team to date, and they have some internal calculation that says, absolutely no way, we got no chance, we're not doing anything this year. The other part of it that really should leap out to people at this point is that they've got Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, and others. That's the incredible part, is that there are others who could factor into this rotation. But those first three alone, they prevent you from going into some kind of shell and waiting till 2025, because you can't justify it. When they're here, you can't justify it. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q comes from Mike. It's a good one. He asks, DK, am I crazy to think that our pitching staff overall is loaded with a healthy Marco Gonzalez, Martin Perez, Quinn Priester, Luis Ortiz, Domingo Germán? He's got to be coming at some point, right? Even behind our top three starting pitchers. And I just realized, it's here, I forgot Bailey Falter. Yeah, don't be doing that. Don't be doing that with the kind of season Falter's having. I dropped a line and a half maybe in the opening segment on this subject, and I didn't pursue it. But your question here allows me to do that. And for me, it's based on how well Gonzalez pitched in Chicago over the weekend. I wasn't expecting that. I probably should have been expecting that, because if you look at Gonzalez's recent history, and by that I mean over the past 2 years and change, when he's been healthy, he's been not good, he's been very good. There's a reason the Braves gave up everything they did to get him from the Mariners. The Braves aren't generally in the business of doing dumb things. That said, I reserve my right to be skeptical about Gonzalez's injury, given that it's a nerve issue, and those are really, really tough recoveries for big league pitchers. They just are. I said that when they acquired Gonzalez. I hoped that the script would be different. Coming out of spring training, it really wasn't. I shouldn't say that. He came out of spring training. He got re-injured early in the season. I don't know what's been the issue with Perez of late. I thought he looked like he was all the way back a couple starts ago. Really had a setback in Milwaukee. Maybe he'll benefit from this All-Star break as much as anybody. Priester, I'm still hanging on the line. Another decent showing against the White Sox. Obviously got good results in Milwaukee against a much better lineup. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Is he something different in 2024 than he will be in 2025? Maybe. Falter, I'm squarely behind. I'd be an idiot twice in the same year to not be. I've told him that. I'm telling you that. I really, really like a lot of what I've seen from him, but especially how different his approach is compared to the rest of the staff, not just because he's a lefty, but because he works sinkers, ironically, high up in the zone. That's pretty cool. And that's a major, major switch for any opponent to encounter, especially in series. Hairman, I don't have anything to say about. I mean, it's nice that a guy who threw a perfect game not that long ago is somewhere on your depth chart, but there still seem to be some hills to climb for him. Overall, though, I mean, you got something you can work with. You got a lot of some things that you can work with. Whether it's a 5-man rotation, 6-man rotation, finding a way to slow down Skeen's inning count. If it's still deemed to be necessary, finding a way to slow down Jones's inning count. Trying to cobble together more reliable middle relief to function as a bridge to get you back to Colin Holderman, Aroldis Chapman, and David Bednar. There's plenty there, but a bat is needed. 2 bats are needed. I don't really care how many bats are needed. It's just not 0. So the GM still has his work cut out for him. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.